what damage am I doing by not showing up as myself? Am I feeling connected to people if I show up as someone other than myself? We just got to notice that, I think, and then make an effort to do the reverse and just be ourselves.
So, we're talking about loneliness with you today. At least here in America, we consider loneliness to be an epidemic. It has really profound, obviously, mental health impacts, but also physical impacts. And I've heard of lots of initiatives around the world of people, of countries opening up loneliness hotlines just for a place for someone to be able to talk. What are you seeing on your side of the planet as it relates to loneliness?
Yeah, I'm not sure that we've been quite as good in terms of initiatives. I know in 2018, the BBC and University of Manchester did a massive study of, I think, 55,000 people, and that flagged up the problem of loneliness. But we haven't sort of had those sort of loneliness clinics, whatever. We do have various lines for people in a crisis, so they're getting more prevalent. But that is the extent of it over here that I've seen, anyway.
So, what is your antidote for loneliness?
Well, in terms of, well, I guess if loneliness is about not being connected to people, then the antidote is to connect with people. But I think more than that, it's about showing up authentically, because, we can meet people, but if we're not ourselves, then we're not feeling connected. So we've got to make an effort to be authentic and vulnerable. It's like clients going to therapy. They have, if they didn't tell us how they really felt, the therapy wouldn't be any good. So I think that's the key to sort of feeling connected to people, is just to show up as yourself. And I guess this can be a problem, for certain groups, like people with autism, etc., and on the Asperger's syndrome level as well. They mask a lot. They don't show up as themselves. And people that I have as clients, talk to me about that and how difficult it is to pretend to be someone they're not, just to be able to make friends. But at the same time, they're not getting authentic friends because they can't be themselves.
Oh, I was just having this conversation with my friend the other day because the quickest way to build I said the quickest way to build a circle of people that you love and like and inspire you and you feel like are your people is that everyone you meet, you have to be yourself. And then you will naturally attract the people
Yeah.
that work with you, and you will naturally repel the people that don't. And that's so simple in concept, but even for those of us not living on any type of autism or Asperger spectrum, we are still putting on a show for everybody we meet. I mean, it's how do we really show up authentically all the time?
Well, you've got to make an effort. You've got to be courageous. I mean, maybe you need help with a therapist to sort of to go through that and understand the benefits of it. It is as simple as being yourself and perhaps saying to yourself, what damage am I doing by not showing up as myself? Am I feeling connected to people if I show up as someone other than myself? We
Mhm.
just got to notice that, I think, and then make an effort to do the reverse and just be ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
For a family unit where one person is experiencing loneliness, but they're around their family all the time. They wake up with their family, they go to sleep with their family, they have dinner with their family, but they're feeling lonely. They're showing up the best they can. They're showing up authentically, but they're not feeling connected. What advice do you have for them?
Well, I guess it's a matter of working out why. If they're showing up authentically, they should feel connected. But perhaps it's more than that. Maybe they're not feeling that they're living a purposeful life. Perhaps it's checking in with their values. Are they doing things that meet the values that they connect with? Have they got the authentic friendships outside of the home? I'd suggest if those things aren't going on, they're not going to feel themselves anyway, and they're not going to have a sense of identity either, which is
Mhm.
something that young people typically struggle with. And that's interestingly why the young age group, 16 to 24, are more lonely than older age groups, which is
Mm.
quite fascinating.
Why do you think that is?
Well, basically it's about identity. So at that age, they haven't worked out who they are. So if you don't, we're going back to that authenticity point. If you don't know who you are and you don't show up as yourself, you can't be authentic and properly connected to others. That happens to all of us. I mean, if you look at psychology, Erickson would say that was one of the stages of moving from childhood up to adulthood. And then with the elderly, I suppose it's 65 plus where they become lonely because they're losing their friendships and people. Their partners are dying. They become less mobile, chronic diseases, so they're isolated literally, which is why that age group also become badly affected. But still, it's not as badly affected as the young age group.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm.
For professionals who are treating those who have loneliness as an underlying complaint in the therapy room, what advice do you have for those professionals?
Well, I guess being in therapy will help the lonely people. So if they're showing up lonely, it's a matter of working out that they are lonely to start with, because a client might not actually volunteer that information, but it will become apparent as the relationship grows. So, I mean, part of therapy training is, some learning core conditions, which includes, empathic listening, validating what the clients go through, really listening and not judging. So if you do that with any client, it helps them feel connected and heard and not misunderstood, which is critical in terms of loneliness, because finally they feel heard. And in some cases, some clients find it more difficult. They might have social anxiety, for example. And in those cases, it's a question of challenging their thoughts. I mean, it depends which school of thought you come from as a therapist. But there are, if you're a cognitive behavioral therapist, you might want to challenge their thoughts, even set up behavioral experiments to get them into a social environment and challenge what they thought might happen compared to what actually happens, to see that actually it is okay, and you can show up as you are, and you have better chance of making friendships that way.
Yeah, that reality testing is so powerful to really see, like, oof, I was being trapped by my own thoughts. That was not the truth. Harriet, final words or anything that we haven't covered on loneliness that you think is important for people to know?
Well, I guess, I mean, loneliness is such a large topic, and if lack of connection is the problem, then the opposite is true, and connecting is the antidote. So I think it's about finding your tribe. You just show up authentically and find people that you like to connect with, and then all of a sudden it clicks into place, and you feel yourself and connected with the world again.
Yeah. I can't agree with that anymore. A few years ago during Mental Health Month, our whole theme was interviewing people with lived experiences. And I asked everybody what their number one piece of advice was for someone struggling. And all of them, it was probably 11 or 12 people, all of them said number one on top of their list was your support, your community, your connection. You got to have that before treatment, therapy, education. They listed all of those things, but number one was the community. And I'm very excited to let our dear viewer know that that is one of the reasons MedCircle Community launched. It is our latest robust offering for all of our MedCircle members. Harriet's in there; she's a member, and our new community is really designed with you in mind. I'm telling our members now, be selfish. This is about you. You are giving to everybody else in your life. I know you are. And now it's time to give to yourself. And we've developed this incredible platform that has private spaces for you to chat, private spaces for you to connect. You can find people who are at MedCircle for the same reasons you're at MedCircle, whether that's for themselves or supporting a loved one. It is a really robust experience, all built into our new and improved MedCircle Community app as well. So if you've not checked that out yet, you can do so at medcircle.com or use the links below this video. Harriet, thank you so much for your time today. It was wonderful to see you, and all the way from the UK. So how
Yeah, all
fun.
the way, all the line. Thank you very much for having me. It's been great.
Yes. If you or a loved one are feeling isolated, here's some important advice from Dr. Sue Varma about what you can do to overcome this state or feeling of loneliness. Take a look.
I always tell people, in times of peacetime versus crisis or wartime, you should identify what is in your, quote, distress tolerance toolkit. So in times of emergency, who are you going to call? What behaviors are helpful for you? What's self-soothing? I don't care what that is for you. But engage in a list of behaviors. Be aware of the hopelessness, the helplessness, that chain of events that is spiraling down, and try to intercept that before your mood goes. I always check in with people at the beginning of the session. What's your mood on a 1 to 10? 10 is the best, 1 is the worst. 0 is I don't want to live anymore. When you see your mood tanking, catch it on its way down. Don't wait for it to get to a 1.
Thank you for watching. You can watch those entire series at watch.medcircle.com. I'm Kyle Kittleson. Remember, whatever you're going through, you got this.